New 500-bed building to be added to Neurosciences Hospital in capital. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to inaugurate tomorrow. Prime Minister to inaugurate payment of long-pending retirement and welfare benefits to private teachers and employees tomorrow. Coastal areas may experience gusty winds under the influence of a land depression. Local cautionary signal number 3 at maritime ports. Heavy falls likely in next 48 hours. Eight people die from gas poisoning at a ship breaking yard in Shitakund of Chattogram. Former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia's 82nd birth anniversary tomorrow. BNP to hold various programs. Vegetable and rice prices fall in markets. Onion, garlic, lentil and grocery prices rise. Iran-related tensions drive another rise in global fuel prices. And Bangladesh lead 153 run against Australia at end of day 2 in Darwin Test. Tanzid Tamim hits maiden Test century. Assalamu alaikum, this is Kimi Aurin welcoming you to News at 10. You have just heard the highlights, now on to the details. A new building with a capacity of 500 more beds will be inaugurated tomorrow at the National Institute of Neurosciences and Hospital (NINS) in the capital. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman is expected to inaugurate the new building at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Officials at NINS said the construction work on the new building has already been completed and most of the equipment has also been installed. According to them, once the 15-story building is inaugurated, the total number of beds at the hospital will increase to 1,000. As a result, it will become the largest specialized neurological treatment center in the country. 3 floors below the building have been kept as basements. There is a parking area as well as a service section. The 12 floors above have wards, operation theaters, and diagnostic units. There are also 40 ICU beds, 24 post-operative beds, and 112 cabins. Doctors at the hospital said most of the patients who come here for treatment are stroke patients, followed by accident victims with brain and spinal cord injuries. In addition, they said patients suffering from various neurological diseases, including Parkinson's disease, dementia, GBS, epilepsy, and hydrocephalus, seek treatment at the hospital. Patients of all ages, from children to the elderly, receive treatment at the hospital for neurological diseases. The government is restarting payments from Non-Government Teachers and Employee Welfare Trust and the Non-Government Teacher Employee Retirement Benefit Board for private teachers and employees after a long suspension. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman will officially inaugurate the program tomorrow. To implement the initiative, the government has allocated 2,000 crore taka as a special grant. Around 1,14,000 teachers and employees will be benefited, including 70,000 from the Retirement Benefits Board and 44,000 from the Welfare Trust. The allocated funds will cover part of the benefits owed to almost all retired teachers and employees. The remaining amount will be paid later, according to the order of applications. For the first time, the payments will be sent directly to beneficiaries' bank accounts through the IBA software. Analysts said the special allocation for retired MPO-listed teachers is insufficient compared to the actual need. However, they believe the initiative will bring hope to thousands who have been waiting for their benefits for a long time. An explosion occurred at a shipyard in Bhattiari, Chattogram, leaving 8 people dead from gas poisoning and at least 10 others injured. Several of the injured are reportedly in critical condition. Authorities concerned said the death toll could rise further. Following the explosion, the injured were rescued and taken to Chattogram Medical College Hospital. They were all reportedly workers at the shipyard. The cause of the explosion was not immediately known. The relevant authorities are working at the scene to determine the cause of the explosion. Meanwhile, Finance and Planning Minister Amir Khusru Mahmud Chaudhry said a probe committee will be formed to investigate the incident where 8 workers were killed in suspected toxic gas leak at a shipwrecking yard at Shitakundo in Chattogram. He made the remarks while visiting the Chattogram Medical College Hospital this afternoon to offer condolences to the families of the victims and to inquire about the medical care of the injured workers. The minister mentioned that the Bangladeshi Breakers and Recyclers Association is providing 10 lakh taka to the families of each victim. Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP has announced a series of programs to mark the 82nd birthday of its former chairperson and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia. The programs were announced in a press release signed by BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi this morning. According to the release, Dua and Milad Mahfils will be held at party offices and mosques across the country. In Dhaka, the program will begin at 11 a.m. at the party's Noyapolton Central Office. Senior leaders of the party will attend the event, the release said. There is no alternative to practicing culture for intellectual development of the children and building them as able citizens. Social Welfare and Women and Children Affairs Minister Dr. AZM Zahid Hussain said this while distributing prizes among the children contestant of art competition organized at National Press Club in the capital today on the occasion of Monsoon Festival. The minister said the children are the future of tomorrow, and so the government is pledge-bound to ensure their protection and build them as worthy citizens. President of National Press Club Wade Hassan Habib, General Secretary Ayub Bhuya and BFUJ Secretary General Kader Goni Chaudhry spoke, among others. State Minister for Primary and Mass Education Bobby Hajjaj inaugurated Cab Holiday 2026 organized by Bangladesh Scouts, Dhaka Metropolitan. Speaking at the inaugural ceremony held this morning at Vikarnisa Noon School and College in the capital, he said the government would increase various opportunities and facilities for Scouts, including campaigns. He further said Scouting plays an important role in developing students' leadership qualities and sense of social responsibility. The event was chaired by Dhaka Deputy Commissioner and President of Bangladesh Scouts Dhaka Metropolitan, Farida Khanum. The principal of Vikarnisa Noon School and College and senior officials of the Scouts also spoke at the event. Around 1,700 Scout students from 235 schools participated in the holiday event. Vegetable and rice prices started to decrease in the kitchen market. Most vegetables are now selling for 60 taka to 80 taka per kilogram. However, prices of onions, garlic, lentils and several grocery items increased. Prolonged inclement weather during the monsoon increased the prices of green chilies and some vegetables, causing discomfort for consumers. But with supplies improving, vegetable prices are now coming down. Rice prices are also declining. The sharp rise in the price of pulao rice has now stabilized. Although the government has not increased edible oil prices, traders said the price of loose edible oil is rising in the wholesale market. Wholesale sugar prices also increased, while retail prices of several essential items continue to fluctuate. However, fish prices remain high. Moving on to international news. Iran has warned that war will continue until U.S. President Donald Trump's term ends. Mohammad Reza Naqvi, a general in the country's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and a close aide to Supreme Leader Mustafa Khamenei, warned that the main purpose of prolonging the war is to build a strong resistance against the United States. In an interview with the American broadcaster PBS, he said, "The longer this war goes on, the more experience Iran will gain." He said the war should be prolonged until January 20, 2029, the last day of Trump's term, and to tire out the adversary so that if anyone else wants to attack Iran, they will understand that they will have to pay a price for it. The Iranian military has said that no ship will be able to pass through the Strait of Hormuz without their permission, as the Strait of Hormuz remains under the full management and control of Iran as before. However, Trump claims that the United States has total control over the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the U.S. military is capable of maintaining a blockade on Iranian ports for as long as necessary. The United States and Iran remain at odds over a permanent end to the Gulf War, with no progress in talks on reviving an interim peace deal and setting a timeline for its implementation, a senior Iranian official said. Meanwhile, the United States is planning to send a new aircraft carrier to the Middle East. The U.S. Navy's USS George Washington aircraft carrier could be sent to the Middle East to replace the USS Abraham Lincoln that's currently deployed there. Civilian casualties from the war in Ukraine rose by nearly a third month-on-month in July to the highest level since May 2022, as Russia struck towns and cities far from the battlefield with missiles and drones. The United Nations Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine said in a report that it had confirmed at least 437 civilians killed and 2,610 injured in July, a 30% rise from June and a 70% jump from the same month last year. Long-range weapons such as missiles and drones remain the leading cause of civilian deaths last month, accounting for 38% of the total. In recent months, Russia has stepped up its attacks on Ukraine with ballistic missiles, which, due to their speed and steep trajectory, are much harder to intercept than drones or cruise missiles. Ukraine has a chronic lack of US-made Patriot interceptors needed to defend against these attacks. President Volodymyr Zelensky urgently appealed to Washington this week for more supplies. Russian glide bombs and air-launched guided munition became the second largest cause of death. Civilian casualties from aerial bombardments increased by 143% month-on-month in July to 105 killed and 753 wounded. The UN also noted a rise in the number of deaths from short-range drones near the front line, which killed 111 people and wounded 710 in July, the highest monthly level since the war began in February 2022. At least 5 people died in eastern Japan after unprecedented heavy rain that left thousands stranded at Narita Airport overnight and snarled up roads and rail services, authorities said Friday. The torrential downpours late Thursday triggered landslide warnings and power outages, with forecasters issuing the highest level heavy rain warning for the Chiba region for the first time. In Chiba's rural parts, more than a dozen cars were left abandoned on low-lying roads. At Narita, sleeping bags piled up as passengers slept all over the terminal, with massive lines forming for check-in across the airport. Public broadcaster NHK reported as many as 8 people may have died. Meanwhile, close to 26,000 households across Chiba Prefecture were without power, the Disaster Management Office said. More than 80 houses flooded in cities such as Ichikawa, Kashiwa, and Sakura. Additionally, close to 90 homes saw water seeping in below the floorboards. Now news on weather. The land depression over West Bengal coast and adjoining area moved west-northwestwards and now lies over Jharkhand and adjoining Gangetic West Bengal. Met Office said under its influence, squally weather may affect the maritime ports, North Bay and adjoining coastal areas of Bangladesh. Maritime ports of Chattogram, Cox's Bazar, Mongla and Paira have been advised to keep hoisted local cautionary signal number 3. I repeat, local cautionary signal number 3. All fishing boats and trawlers over North Bay have been advised to remain close to the coast and proceed with caution till further notice. Meanwhile, Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said light to moderate rain or thunder showers accompanied by temporary gusty wind is likely to occur at many places over Khulna, Borishal and Chattogram divisions and at a few places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka, Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions. Besides, moderately heavy to heavy falls is likely to occur at places over the country. Night and day temperature may fall slightly over the country. Maximum temperature of the country was recorded 36.7 degrees Celsius at Dinajpur and minimum temperature was recorded 24.2 degrees Celsius at Bandarban in 24 hours since 6 p.m. yesterday. Now news on sports. Bangladesh responded well with a bat on the second day against Australia in the Darwin Test. Bangladesh scored 351 runs for 6 wickets in the first innings at the end of the day. As a result, the Tigers are ahead of the Aussies by 153 runs. Mehdi Hassan Miraj is at the crease on 32 and Hassan Mahmood is at the crease on 13 runs. Earlier, the Tigers started the second day's play with 96 runs for 1 wicket on the first day. Tanjid Hassan Tamim scored 101 runs, including his first Test century. In addition, Mominul Haq scored 49, Najmul Hossain Shanto scored 84, and Mushfiqur Rahim scored 36 runs. On Thursday, the Aussies were bowled out for just 198 runs in the first innings, with Hassan Mahmood taking 6 wickets and Taskin Ahmed and Ibadat Hussain taking 6 wickets. To end the bulletin, headlines once again. New 500-bed building to be added to Neurosciences Hospital in capital. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman to inaugurate tomorrow. Prime Minister to inaugurate payment of long pending retirement and welfare benefits to private teachers and employees tomorrow. Eight people die from gas poisoning at a shipbreaking yard in Sitakunda of Chattogram. Former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia's 82nd birth anniversary tomorrow, BNP to hold various programs. Vegetable and rice prices fall in markets. Onion, garlic, lentil and grocery prices rise. Coastal areas may experience gusty winds under the influence of a land depression. Local cautionary signal number 3 at maritime ports. Heavy falls likely in next 48 hours. Iran-related tensions drive another rise in global fuel prices. And Bangladesh lead 153 run against Australia at end of day 2 in Darwin Test. Tanjid Tamim hits maiden Test century. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us, and we invite you to watch our next Bangla News at 11 p.m. Until then, Allah Hafiz.